Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you are new, you're highly welcome. So today we are doing a makeup do and don't, like those common makeup mistakes that we did or that we usually do. So do well to hit the subscribe button, give me a big thumbs if you like the video, it does support my video. We now do, let's go straight into the video. So I started off by, this is my good side, so I started off by priming my eye, lining my brows with David's number 3 eye pencil. After I fill it in lightly, guys, please sorry for the noise. When I reach the front side, I draw a hairline strands and I use a spoolie to comb out the front. For the don't side, I still go in with David's number 3 eye pencil, but the common mistake I'm seeing is when you fill it in, it's usually too thick and it makes this thing, you don't blend out the front side, like don't comb it out, so it gives you this box like effect. So this thing is too filled in, so I went in with a concealer that is 2 shades lighter than my skin tone. I line it up and then clean it with my middle finger. For the top of my brow, that's in the good side, I go in with my foundation, which is Maybelline Superstay foundation in the shade Warm Coconut. Guys, please sorry for the noise. So after that, I blend it in with my middle finger so that when I apply foundation later, it won't give me difficulty. For my don't side, I go in with the LA Girl Pro Conceal too in the shade Almond. This shade is like 3 shades lighter than my skin tone, and I apply it. I don't blend it out with my middle finger, and I use the same foundation and concealer to line my upper brow. This I see very often. I did blend it out with my middle finger. So for my good side, I went back in with the LA Girl Pro Conceal in the shade Fawn for my eyeshadow base. So I'm going in with this Ijele eyeshadow palette from V Beauty. For the good side, I'm dabbing in the eyeshadow into my crease area and applying with a fluffy brush. I dab so like to stand as my first transition shade. Also for the good side, I went in with this orange shade as my second transition shade to clean out any harsh line from my first transition color. And I'm doing this using a very light circular motion so that everything will be well blended. So I go in with this blue shade for my lid area and apply this half of my lid area, and I'm using a dabbing motion. As you guys can see, I dab. So I went back in. You guys know me, I like my tear dot area to be super bright. I go in with this silver, apply it on top of the blue, then blend it out. So I went back into that first transition shade I used before to clean out any harsh lines and to deepen the crease too. So for my don't side, I didn't apply any sort of base. I go in directly with the gold shade, apply in the crease area, Then going with the second shade, that's the blue, and I'm dragging it all over the place. After that, going with that last shade, that's the first one I used there, that's the matte shade. After I use the matte, I drag it all over the place. Use it and drag it down. So for the wing line, for the do side, I start in the middle of my eyes to draw a line so that there will be an outline. Then I come into the inner corner of the eye so that I'll smudge it out so that the line will be thin. But from my don't side, I start at the front of the eye, just draw the line, which will make it very thicker than it's supposed to be, then wing it out. For the do side, I go in with my moisturizer and moisturize my face. Apply a primer all over the face. I prime my whole face with the Pond's Lasting Oil primer. Apply it to my entire face. I was waiting for my lashes to get tacky so that I can apply this. And on my do side, I applied the lash very close to my lash line, very close. On my don't side, I press the lash together. On my don't side, apply it. If you could see my normal lash, so just peeping out, and that I see very regularly. So for my do side, I apply a foundation, my skin tone. I apply using a dabbing motion. I dab into my skin, and I don't apply the foundation directly to my hairline. Apply my forehead, then drag it to my hairline, blend it to my hairline, towards my hairline. Using a dabbing motion, I dab, as you guys can see. I go in, and then you should blend in your neck. Please don't forget to blend in your neck. That's the do side. For my do side, I'm going in with the highlighter. That's the concealer I used before in the shade Fawn. Elegant concealer in the shade Fawn. Apply it under my eyes, blend it out. The bridge of my forehead, blend it out. I wasn't able to separate my nose, so I left it. Then my chin, blend it out using a dabbing motion. On my don't side, I apply a foundation lighter than my skin tone. It is very common, and I'm not judging. I usually do this before. As I was saying, this is the common mistake all of us once make, and I apply I'm dragging this thing. I'm not dabbing it. I am dragging my beauty blend. I'm dragging it on my face. I'm not dabbing, dragging it all over my face. And I applied the foundation very close to my hairline. See, the thing has entered my hairline. Apply using a dragging motion. For the conceal, the highlights, I went 3 shades lighter, and I applied in excess and towards my hairline too. I drag it towards my hairline, and I bring it down a little bit. I'll still blend out I still blend out, dragging it all over the place. Drag. See the demarcation? Now your face is looking lighter than your body. I'm not judging, guys. I once did most of these mistakes too. So for other good stuff, like for setting, and I'm using the Avour Professional Powder Palette. For my do side, I went in and set immediately using a dabbing motion too. On my don't side, I am baking, dabbing the powder and leave it to set. I'm not saying baking is not a good stuff. It is if you know how to time it. But if you're a beginner, I think you should just set. But so for my contour, I went in with 2 shades darker than my skin tone. Contour my cheekbone and my hairline. Hairline, guys, you don't want to appear as if you have a max. So I contour my hairline and contouring my cheekbone. I'm using a circular motion so that there will be no harsh lines. But for my then dust out my setting powder in my don't side, and I'm sweeping it. For my do side, I went in and set my face and my neck too with my setting powder, my finishing powder, and I contour my nose too with 2 shades lighter, deeper than my skin tone. You see, I draw the line, tap out the excess before I blend it in. For my don't side, I went in with 3 shades darker, and I'm drawing like a line. I'm not contouring my hairline too. I'm setting the rest of my don't side too with the setting powder. I'm contouring my nose. You see, I draw the line, didn't tap out the excess. I blend it in immediately, which will make the contour to be too dark. So I set the whole face with my classic Mist and Fix setting spray. For my don't side, I did this once too, carrying a black pencil, closing your eye and just drawing it like that. For my do side, I go in with a gel liner, line my waterline. After lining my waterline, I smudge out my under eye area with that first transition color I used before. For highlights, I'm using these two. This first one for the do and the other one for the don't. So I'm using it, drawing a circular motion. Using a circular motion for this. I'm using a very light hand since it's a pressed highlighter. For my don't side, I go in with a very light shade of highlighter, and I'm not using a circular motion, I'm just drawing a line. And as you can see, it's not my skin tone, like it's off. Applying every other side to that light will hit, packing it in. So for highlighting my nose, I say I should separate it. The do side, that with the tip of my nose I blend in, the bridge of my nose I blend in. For my don't side, I draw a very straight line. Guys, I've been seeing this one too online. Very straight line, guys, is wrong, if I say so myself. So for my lips, I'm going in with this purple shade, my favorite, you guys know. I'm applying the same on my do and don't side. On my don't side, I went in with little bit too much on the strip, then overline my lips. See, it's coming out, peeping out from this side. My do side, I blend it out. I blend it out so it won't look like concrete that you put on your lips. Then I use a gloss to smudge it all out. For my don't side, I didn't blend it, I just left it like that. I've been seeing this too. Spraying on with a gloss. See how the don't side is, very straight line. So guys, this is the final look. Hope you learned something from today's video. Don't forget to share your thoughts on the comment section. Don't forget to subscribe, support your girl. So until the next video, bye.